So how did this performance piece start for you guys? You guys start off in church. You guys had some talent shows. How did this talent start to rise up? How did people start to realize you guys were so talented?
Well, the crazy thing about it, I'll start off and I'll let him finish it because it gets a little interesting. Like when we was in the church, our parents tried to get us they tried to get us to be in the choir. But during that time, we didn't like being in front of people. We didn't like to perform in front of people. We didn't like to talk in front of people. We ain't do nothing. We was in the background. So, hey, want y'all be Ursha. So we did the Ursha thing. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't do it as far as the music, but we did the sports. We did the football, track, and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Then we got to school. We went through the mix. We started doing dance. Started doing choreography, dance, background dance, and a whole lot of other stuff. And then one day he came to me. I'm going to let him finish that one.
And so what happened was we used to be doing dance and doing choreography and everything for other artists and whatnot. And then one morning I just woke up and wrote a song. Like that entire day, I couldn't think of nothing else but one song. So I was just writing all day. And then we was like, man, there's no sense in keep doing choreography and everything for everybody else. We might as well go ahead and do it for ourselves. So we was like, all right. So we recorded it. I mean, well, we didn't record it. We sang, then it set back, and then it was all like, you know, because it was one of them love songs. So we was.
Is there anything better than a trip getting ready? Nope. For a long journey where our podcast released a new app and searching for a fade feeling, new fixation. Giving this a subscribe is the same sensation. Started with the day ones, they gave us fuel to support the season. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here for a reason. Notification bells, text some friends, all to let you know. Check your Bluetooth, connect, talking with Donato.
Welcome in, everyone. Episode 149, Double Barrel Shot with our guests, Double Xperience. Fellas, it's a holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Something tells me I just woke y'all up from all that beauty sleep. I'm gonna start off with a little hate. Y'all some model dudes, y'all some good-looking gentlemen. So I know y'all sleep in hyperbaric chambers like all the time. Y'all was just sleep just now, weren't y'all?
Good. Nah, we haven't been sleeping all day, man. We had to get up and season that meat. Man, you know, we had to season the meat.
Hey,
we had to get the food right. Put on the grill, man.
You can't sleep past the meat, man. You can't sleep all day. Because, when you sleep, somebody else is working.
We international. We international. I used to be big in Mexico. It looks like Israel is coming up nowadays. Shout out to my Israel homies. I don't know nobody over there. Yo, let's explain that to them. Some of them ain't never been to America. Yo, we in Texas. Y'all from Texas. Can y'all tell them, first of all, how sacred is it to get this grill action going today?
Man, you got to wake up. You got to get it right. You got to season the meat before you get on the grill, like a day, 2 days prior. You got to hook it up. You got to season up, let it soak, let it marinate, get all them juices up in there. So when you eat it, it's like,
have that cold right, man. They got to be ready. So when you put it on, it cooks right, man. So it can even out the meat and level it out. That's how you got to do it.
Yeah.
So fellas, I gotta know. So y'all doing this. Are some people trying to roll through? This is something y'all gonna put down, and then you got something for the week. What was the plan? Because it sounds like y'all got a good spread going.
Nah, man, we just cook and eat.
We cook and eat. Got some people that's gonna swing through. You know, we're gonna be wilding out, but you gotta make that food so it carries over to the next day.
But you know how people are.
Yeah. Sometimes it don't carry over. It's a wrap. Sometimes
that's why you gotta hide some of them plates. You gotta make some plates, hide it off to the side in the back of the fridge so nobody knows where it's at.
Yeah, no, I understand it.
That's why it's good to be the cook. I get to eat while I cook.
That's smart. You always gonna have a little something. So what's the first thing I want to know? Again, for the people that may not be from Texas, let's explain something here. What's your go-to? I need to hear from both of you. What's your go-to? The very first thing you want to start chewing on when it's ready, when it's time to go.
Oh, when everything is done and done?
Yeah.
Everything.
Because see, as the cook, I'm tasting everything and I'm pulling it off the grill. I just got to get to the side.
Eating and grilling.
I feel like
I'm tasting the chicken. I might have me a burger on the side. Hey, I'm already in it.
I just wanted them to understand like, you know, when we get that brisket going, you just got to say to yourself, yeah, I did that one right there. I did that right there. You know, something you proud of.
Depends on what you in. You know, first thing you get to is the meat. It don't matter what it is. If it's the ribs, if it's the brisket, if it's the chicken, if it's the sausage. Unless you vegan or veggie, then you get to the skewers with the red peppers, green peppers, and we can break it all down depending on what you're eating and what you want.
Oh, okay. So y'all,
you know, not a bit.
I was about to give you props about that. That you are cognizant that there are some of us out there who don't get down with the meat. So it sounds like you got some viewers. Okay.
So you got to do the stir with the red peppers, the onions, and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what it is.
Salads, the beans,
you know, some people, the ones that don't eat meat, they might do little fish.
So y'all invited me through.
It just depends on what it is. It depends on how strong your thing as far as the vegan style. Some people don't do meat at all. It doesn't matter if it's a sausage or pork or beef or turkey. You have to
have your sides, man. Without the sides,
that's why they have the sides. They got you got the pork and beans. You got the potato salad. You got the depending on corn. Corn on the cob. You can put everything on the grill. Vegan, they might not have that ham hock and pork and beans. That bacon thrown up in there. It might be something else they got up in there. Just depends on your preference.
Yeah,
Texas, we can throw everything on the grill. Corn on the cob.
Texas, we cook everything.
We can do it.
Hey, I bet you somebody's throwing some crawfish on the grill if they can do it. And I'm telling you, about the crawfish, they're gonna wrap it up some aluminum foil and wrap it up and get it.
They even throw the fajitas on the grill. They get that, slice that chicken up, slice it up with the red peppers, bell peppers, yellow peppers, orange peppers, green. Put it all up in there. Throw it up on that.
Hey, I know y'all get hungry just listening. I'm telling you,
y'all got me drooling. Y'all got me drooling. But that's one of the best things. That's why I want to start off, because y'all homegrown, man. Y'all Texas own. So for those who are not out there, man, where y'all from?
From San Antonio, Houston.
We Houston,
H-Town, from everywhere. Just Texas. That's where we're from.
From
Texas.
Ain't nothing wrong.
Family from Texas. Hey, Texas homebred, baby.
So if I was to say, for those who are not from here, for those who we might have some Illinois cats listening in, tell me, in your house right now, how many Texas state flags do you have in your house?
0.
Oh, no.
Yeah, got a signal.
I see that. I see
that. When you do as much moving around as we do and traveling as much as we do, we don't have time to, it's one thing putting it out there, but I don't have time to be on the road, come back and the flag is flowing off. Because, hey, Texas weather is weird. It'd be hot as heck one moment, and it'd be cold as shit the other. Next you know, you got a windy day, you got a hell day. I don't want to come back and all my shit is gone every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's
I understand that. That's correct. So if we were to say in all of Texas, if a person, let's just go back to this Illinois cat. It's cold up there. They get a lot of snow. They're right there on the Great Lakes. They get lake effect. They get a lot of snow. They want to come down. Where's the first place you telling them to go? Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio. Where do they start first?
That's a good question. The question is what are you looking for? If you're looking to party and going out, you know what I'm saying? Or if you're looking for the laid back, it depends on what you want. If you're looking for the parties where everybody's jumping, catching beat, I'm going to tell you Houston or Dallas. If you want to be laid back with your lady, you want to do the river walk in San Antonio, go down and get you a few margaritas and keep it moving. It just depends on what you're looking for when you come to Texas. We got all things going on out here.
Keep it weird, go to Austin.
You want to roll with the college cats? You're a young buck that want to get there and hit party in the street. You got 6th Street in Austin. I can tell you all the spots. It depends on what you're looking for.
I see that. Now, I want to come back to one little thing here. All right, fellas, help me out. It's senior year. You guys went through the lunch line. Maybe you brown bagged it because parents had to pay for 2 of y'all. I feel sorry for them. But anyway, y'all went through the lunch line. You got that meal from the lunch dude. You know you're going to regret this by the end of 7th period. What table y'all sitting at?
Our table. Everybody's coming to sit with us
anyway. I don't have to go to their table. They're coming to my table. I don't gotta go look for a table. We have our own table.
So
but we said
nobody's
it's
ever
gonna
said
show
that
up anyway.
They want to know where the twins is at.
Yo, nobody's ever said that before. That's not only is that original, that's a good point. That's a good point. Where the party at? Where I'm at.
Hey, the old saying goes, you want to be the driver of the train, or you want to be the caboose? I ain't got time to be the follower. I need to get there, get things going. People follow us, and we bring people along so they can be their own engine and their own stuff to get stuff going. That's what it's about.
Okay, we're going to stay in high school for a second here. Were y'all voted anything in high school? Close to funniest or most likely to? Were y'all voted anything, or were you close?
Well, we're in school. We try to stay out of all that. You know what I'm saying? All that.
That's politics.
We don't do the politics. We try to stay away from a lot of stuff. Now, don't get us wrong. Yeah, they might not have as a class cloud. They might work, but at the end of the day, it's about who who your peoples are. You know what I'm saying? You can be the people that run the school, but if your people was such and they was over this board, don't mean you're gonna be on things. So why look for it? Why look for something that's a possibility you might not get anyway? Because when you start looking, it may not happen. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing is, if you're looking to make it happen, it ain't gonna happen. So you got to make the stuff happen. If you want to be in a certain situation, you want to be the class clown, you want to be that. That's what you're gonna do.
I like it, gentlemen. I already like y'all pitching a shutout right now. Dare I say Nolan Ryan stats? I did that little Texas. Texas there, right there. Send that down the middle like no. So, all right. Then we're going to go to another thing. When y'all was in high school, y'all play any sports? What'd y'all do? Because for those who don't know, we know Texas, that football is serious, and it does.
It's all about football and track.
Football and track. It's both.
That's what y'all did?
Oh, shoot. We got a lot of people from Texas in track. Go look it up.
So, did y'all play any sports, though?
We did track and football.
What events in track?
We was quarter horses. We did the 2 and the 4. We did a little basketball, but it wasn't our game, like I say. But we was quarter horses. We did the 4 and the 2. And then, of course, here's a 4x1. I did the 100. So, we did a little bit of everything.
Hey, y'all. So then y'all did a couple relays at least, then, right?
4x1, 4x4 sport. Gotta be in the relay.
So who hands to who? Who hands to who?
At 4x4, he was the anchor. I started it off. He ended it.
Oh, that's nice. Yo, that was okay. I'm glad I asked that. That's a cool look right there. All right, so gentlemen, when you talk about Texas sports, was there anything that could have drawn y'all's attention to? I mean, b-ball. I found a lot of basketball players. Did that pull y'all? How close did y'all get to basketball?
I mean, we watch it. Don't get me wrong; it's a good game, But when you doing sports, when you do a lot of different things, it's a whole lot different when you used to looking out than looking in. You know what I'm saying? When you've been on the track, you've been on bowling on the field, you on the football field. Looking out is totally different than me sitting in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? And then we grew up in a football family. My dad played for the Redskins. My older brother played pro ball. So we grew up in football.
And I didn't like the basketball coach, so I just stayed away.
Yo, that's a big part. That's a big part, man.
We didn't get along.
I ain't get along with some of the ball players, so it is what it is.
So how did this performance piece start for you guys? You guys start off in church. You guys had some talent shows. How did this talent start to rise up? How did people start to realize you guys were so talented?
Well, the crazy thing about I'll start off and I'll let him finish it because it gets a little interesting. Like when we was in the church, our parents tried to get us they tried to get us to be in the choir. But during that time, we didn't like being in front of people. We didn't like to perform in front of people. We didn't like to talk in front of people. We ain't do nothing. We was in the background. So, hey, want y'all be Ursha. So we did the Ursha thing. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't do that as far as the music, but we did the sports. We did the football, track, and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Then we got to school. We went through the mix. We started doing dance. Started doing choreography, dance, background dance, and a whole lot of other stuff. And then one day he came to me. I'm going to let him finish that one.
And so what happened was we used to be doing dance and doing choreography and everything for other artists and whatnot. And then one morning I just woke up and wrote a song. Like that entire day, I couldn't think of nothing else but one song. So I was just writing all day. And then we was like, man, there's no sense in keep doing choreography and everything for everybody else. We might as well go ahead and do it for ourselves. So we was like, all right. So we recorded it. I mean, well, we didn't record it. We sang it, then it set back. And then it was all like, because it was one of them love songs. So we was like, man. And then from there, I was just writing song after song after song, fast, slow. It didn't matter. And a lot of people, they be like, so a lot of the music you go through, is that what you write? I say, yeah, some of it's what we've gone through, but a lot of it's what we sing, because a lot of people used to come to us with their problems and we try to help and solve. So everybody can relate to stuff. So that's why when we do music everybody can relate to. So there's always something that somebody can relate to in all of our music. But it all started with me waking up one morning and just wrote a song.
Yep, and then
heard a beat in my head and was just writing. And
then I always did poetry and stuff like that. So it brought me in. Started doing my verses. He was doing his verses. We started collabing. We said, well, hey, if we're gonna do this, let's go ahead and rap it up, but let's make it for everybody. So we did the slow, we got the club, we got the mellow, we got the rolling down the street type. So we got a little bit of everything. It's not no one genre.
So it wasn't hard for him to come to you. You immediately said, let's do it? Or did it take some coaching immediately? Well, that's that first day?
You got to understand, we're twins. So we pretty much did everything together.
And we're our own competition.
So if I do it,
why not get together and let's figure it out and make it happen?
So then we was like, what hasn't been done? Because like if you research a lot of musicians, that there's been twins. There's been twin actors. There's been twin rappers. There's been twin singers. So you if you research it, a lot of the twins, there's always only one that did it. The other one decided, because trying to break off that individualism. So a lot of twins didn't do the same thing when it came to a lot of stuff. So if you see twins like in music, they only did singing. Like you have Jagged Edge, you have Whispers. If you go old school, they did the R&B, but they didn't do rap. And then you had some other twins called Twins and some other that did rap. But the thing was, I was up there. I told my brother, I was like, man, let's do something that nobody's been doing. Let's just mix the R&B and the hip hop and the rap all into one, because there's no twin groups that was actually doing that. So we was like, let's do something that hadn't been done. So we was like, all right, that's why we're not one genre. We're pop, R&B, and hip hop, because we don't just stick to one genre.
Man, yo, that's a great breakdown, man. I appreciate that. It makes me feel like at that time, this was an exciting new journey for you guys. Just you stood at the beginning, the world was up to you. Now you find out you're a songwriter. So you're not inhibited by waiting for others to bring art to you. So exactly. When you have somebody that has, my words, the same ears, you said y'all have a lot in common. By being the twins, y'all go the right direction. What do y'all do for the quality control? How do y'all make decisions on that? Because if y'all have a lot in common, that means the taste is pretty similar, right? Do you go outside?
I mean, it's just like anything else, man. You're going to have your discrepancies. You're going to have your, hey, you may be right, I may be right. You're always going to have that period. But at the end of the day, it's not about what you go through and everything that gets in the beginning. What happens is what you come with the outcome. When you finish the project, when you finish a song, what is done at the end. Because you're always going to have it going through the wreck. You know what I'm saying? You're going to say, oh, it should be done this way. I'm going to be like, well, I do it this way. So a lot of times, I'll do my part. The kid's going to be, he'll do his, whatever it be. He might have a few little things to do mine. I might tweak mine a little bit. I might have a few comments I might say about his. He might be tweaked a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's about the end result is what matters.
Everybody has, even if you go into the known artists that have collabed and who have been in groups, all of them was fighting in the studio like, man, don't do that. That sucks, man. Do this. Let's do that. But everybody's gonna have. But it's like, okay, well then they record it. Let's see what it sounds like, so you can see what we hear. So it's more of you have to make it work. You have to. You can't just be like it's my way all the time. That's in a group, because with groups, when you start getting to the whole my way, that's when groups start breaking up. That's when groups start going, because you can be your way. You can be in a group and do solo stuff at the same time. But just because you're doing solo stuff while you're doing group stuff, you can't look at yourself as being bigger than the group, because if you try to do that, then you make the group look bad. because it's like really. So what?
Well, no, I was gonna say. So I intended not to do the typical twin thing. I know y'all get that a lot, but because you guys are so close and so talented, I still have to ask some things that are similar to that. What happens when y'all are recording or y'all are creating and y'all have a similar thought? How do you make that decision? You guys take turns with it. He who says it first gets it. For instance, I've recorded some music. I know when it's time to do an ad lib. You like, yo, I wanted to do it. Yeah, I had that. So when you have those similarities, do y'all rock, paper, scissors? Because I would imagine
sometimes we have similarities, but the thing is, just like with me, I know what range he can go and I know which range he can't go. So he can have a similarity, but he's like, I know I can't hit that note, so I'm gonna need you to do it. So I'll stick with more of the falsetto, the high notes, I'll let him do the tenor and alto a lot. So we try to even it out. So if it's more of the deeper stuff, I'll let him do it. If it's more of the high stuff, I'll do it. Sometimes I'll mix in with the deeper if we need to go with harmonies or stuff like that. But when you know where the levels of where everybody in the group can go, that's why when we perform, people be like, man, y'all must practice all day, every day. And it's like, we practice, but we don't practice all day, every day, because we've been around each other so much. We can be on the stage. He can be on one end of the stage, and I can be on the other end, and I'll know when he's going to move before he even moves. So therefore, we don't ever bump into one another. So it's all knowing where you are on stage, knowing where you're at, because when you're in unison with stuff, that's how harmony works. That's how you have a good show, because it's like, man, they move in sync. It's like they've got to be practicing 24 hours, 7 days a week. But the thing is, that's just like if you go in a room with let's say you go in a room with a lot of Jamaicans. If you in that room long enough, your accent is going to start changing, because that's what you're around so much. So when you working and you practicing and you around that a lot, you start being able to mimic. You'll be able to move in unison. That's just like cobras. If you see a cobra, when the people be hypnotizing the cobras, and when they start moving, the cobra starts moving, it's because it's mimicking, because it's following you, because it understands, it feels that energy, so it's going to go with you. So that's the same thing with us. So we know what notes we're going to go, what notes we're not going to go. He knows where he won't be able to go on a note, so he'd be like, hey man, we had the same thing, but you got this one. And so we try to average it all out, so therefore technically there's no lead in the group. So if I'm doing a lot, he's going to do a lot here. If he's doing a lot, then I'm going to do a lot here. So therefore it's really no lead in the group.
Yeah, so man, so at the end of the day, we actually feed off of each other. You know what I'm saying? If I'm having a time where I might have a cold, I might have something, I'll be like, hey man, I don't know if I'm gonna hit this note, I might get it. But that's what's knowing your other partner. That's what's knowing your group. Everybody is supposed to know each other to be able to help that person out. So if I can't go, up whatever case I'm being, at that moment he's good to go, I'll be like, yo, and he'll take it and just keep it moving. Because at the end of the day, the show must go on. The only people that's gonna know that you messed up is who? You. Audience ain't gonna know. Your viewers ain't gonna know, because it's all about the show. It's all about putting on a show. So everybody gotta make sure everybody have each other back. He know my verses like I know his verses. If I feel he's finna cough over here where he feeling choked, I'm gonna come and bring it on in. It's just about knowing things and making the show happen.
I was curious, when was the moment when you guys, up until now, I'm not saying that it's all downhill from here, but up until now, what's the moment that you guys said, yo, mama, we made it? Like within yourselves, you guys felt like, yo, I see this. I see it's happening for us. All this blood, sweat, and tears.
We still trying to make it. Everybody's trying to make it, So it's never really that point. Well, when you get to that point where say I made it, that means you ain't got no bill problems. You don't have no gas problems. You ain't trying to be like, yo, we got to go find a gas station where it's $3.26. My gas over here is $4.29. Man, we got to find a cheap. When you know you made it is when you know you have no money problems. You might have friend problems and relationship problems, but you have no financial problems. You can take care of yourself, your family, your family's family, you know, you're able to do everything. So it's all about just getting to that level and just keep working. So as long as you keep working and keep trying to always get that next step.
Yeah, and then you always got to look at it this way. When you sit there and say, I made it. At the end of the day, did you really make it? Because that means you got to work just that much harder to keep things going, to keep your fans in tune, to keep going. Just because you made $1 million, hey, you can spend $1 million in a week.
Yeah,
you can spend $1 million quickly. So it's just about now you got to work that much harder. Yeah, you made it, but then you don't. At the end of the day, you still got to get your next job. You still got to get your next show. You still got to get your next acting gig. So when you sit there and say made it is whereas I can sit back, I ain't got to perform no more, I ain't got to film no more, and I'm straight for the rest of my life until I end up in the daggone dirt. You know what I'm saying? That's when you made it.
When you say you made it, you basically put a cap on what you're trying to do. That's just like, take Bolt, for instance. When Bolt ran that time and broke the record, if he said, I made it, he wouldn't have tried to beat the record.
And he broke his record again.
And he broke his record again. If he would have said, I made it, he wouldn't have worked even harder to break it again. So when you say I made it, like he was saying, when you say I made it is when you're sleeping and you're making money. When you're just chilling on the beach and you're making money.
Mm-hmm.
That's making it.
So we don't say we made it. I succeeded in what I tried to accomplish.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I see what I try to accomplish, but now I want to accomplish more. So now I got to set my goals and my stakes that much higher. So yeah, I made it to what as far as my goals and what I'm looking for to try to complete them myself. But now I didn't succeeded in that. Okay, now I need to make my goals higher. So when you sit there and say you made it, you can make it. I ain't doing nothing else. I can sit back, chill. I can travel like I want, go around the world. I ain't sitting there worried about a dime. But even millionaires and billionaires, you know what? They can sit there and say they make it, but I guarantee you, they ain't in that club sometimes. They out there working this, making this. Because the same way that money is going out, you gotta make sure that money is coming in.
Yeah.
When a lot of people who said they made it, what do? They start working on another career. They're like, I done already hit the plateau over here. I done made it. I did the best I can do over here. Now let me go to acting. Okay, I done did the best over here. Let me go ahead and start a company. I done already made it with this, so I don't even need to do that anymore. So that's when you know you made it, and that's when you put a cap. So we don't really say we made it.
We succeeded in what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I like that. What are the most popular requests you guys get when you show up? Let's just say generally, when people find out you have a range, and you guys do acting, you write songs, choreography, you guys perform. But what's the most popular requests you guys get?
I mean, like when people want us to do other people's music?
No, just maybe let's say I'm putting on a talent show. Let's say I have an event and I contact you guys. I was like, hey, can y'all come through? I want you guys to rap. Nah, I want you guys to sing. I'm just kind of curious on where things go, because in my mind, I want to know that R&B is still out here slaying, but maybe y'all do get more requests for hip hop, rap, and then you got to kind of convince them, hey, let me drop a couple R&B joints. So where does it go first?
Well, R&B is always still going to slay, but you also have to be able to have those club songs too, because you can put on a all R&B show. Yeah. But even if you look at every artist out there, it's never been no straight R&B slow show. You can't just put on a slow show for a whole hour. You have to have some up-tempo R&B in there, some dance R&B. You have to have that to keep giving the crowd a mix, because everybody is different. Just like if you take females, there's a lot of females that love R&B. They can chill with it all day. But then you have those other females that like to get, get nasty, get dirty and grimy with it. So you have to be able to perform for everybody. So you have to have something for everybody to be able. So if you would call and be like, yo, we got this show, we want y'all to come and be guest performers. One thing we're going to ask is, what's the age bracket? What's the age limit to who we're performing? So we know what not to do and what to do. So if you're going to be like, man, it's going to be a lot of females. Oh, well, we're going to bring a lot of that songs for females, because
bedroom.
when you sing to the females, they're gonna shut the fellas up. They're gonna shut them up. They're gonna get louder than the fellas because women love what they love. So if they love it, they'll shut everybody else up. So you got to be able to portray to all demographics when you're performing, not just one.
Right, and that's when people, and that's a good thing about like stuff that we do. You know what I'm saying? You might hit us up and be like, "Hey, this is an R&B show." Well, shoot, we got a lot of R&B stuff. Hey, this is a hip hop show. Hey, we got a lot of hip hop stuff. Depending on what you want, we got you. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know, we're about what people are looking for. Like, if you go to a club now, back in the days, they said what? They did the club, and they did what? They broke it down with that slow R&B stuff. Tell me what club you go to now where they playing hip hop, and all of a sudden they throw a slow mix into the mix. You ain't hearing it. Even though R&B, the ladies love R&B and a brother that can sing. But if they're in that hip hop, I'm getting my drink on, I want to party. You don't hear that slow stuff because people think the slow stuff is played out. R&B has never been played out. I know. R&B is always going to be there. Tell me one person going to sit there, be in that bedroom with their lady, and we listen to Bump and Grind the whole time. They ain't finna do it. They ain't finna do no hip hop. No, we're going to do some yin yang while I'm with my lady up in the bed trying to get my group. Wait. No, we're going to throw on some what? Some Keith. You know, somebody might throw on some of that old school, some Johnny, some Ozzy Brothers.
But just to prove a point with the how the ladies are, you can be in a hip hop club, jamming out. If Tank rolled up in that club and started singing, you think they're gonna be mad about it?
Nah.
Them ladies gonna shut them fellas up, man. Shut up.
Luther Vandross, you know, God rest his soul. If he walked in and grabbed a chair, you think them ladies gonna be mad that Luther grabbed a chair and sat on the stage?
Nah. Chris Brown walked in and started singing. Ain't nobody gonna be mad.
Do that.
But they got the club songs.
So even shout out to the new school R&B, the old school. If some tight ass R&B new school came out there and rolled out and they know, you think they're gonna be mad? No. Ladies ain't gonna be mad in no R&B. You gonna have brothers mad with the R&B, but then depending on how them ladies are reacting, I might get the ladies listening to this R&B. So it's gonna always be a high energy show regardless.
I want to switch to a point of view question for you guys. I don't do this often, but I wanted to offer this to you guys. So it's a two-part. The first part is, what do people normally try to offer you guys the similarity to? It happens. Whether we wanted to or not, it happens. Y'all sound like, y'all are like. What is that? What is the thing you get most? That's the first part.
That's the thing, because our music is so broad, because we do pop, R&B, and hip hop. We get different comparisons. We've gotten the Chris Brown, we've gotten the Nelly, we've gotten the Mike, we've gotten the Maxwell. So it just depends on the song, on where somebody's going to compare you to. So we've been compared to a variety of singers, old school, new school. It just depends on the people and what they hear is who they're going to compare you to. But it's always good when they compare you to a great, when they compare you to somebody who's doing good things, rather than they go, yeah, man, y'all sound like Tony. Like, Tony who? You don't want that.
You got Tony. You got Tony. You got to
specify who.
There's a lot of Tonys out there. I need to know who we're talking about.
When you get compared to somebody who has done big things, that's just always a good thing regardless.
So that's the second part, and you guys led me into that. I was trying to throw y'all the oop. You sent it back to me, so now I got to reverse it. But October London, it's a new cat that's out right now. And, I mean, he's been out for some years, but he's doing his thing. In fact, he's here in Austin this weekend. So when you have someone like him, and people say, bro, you sound like Marvin Gaye. From what I've seen, he doesn't take offense. In fact, he says something very similar to what you guys have, which tells me you guys are coming from good self-esteem. You hunt the good stuff. You see the positives. Should a person be mad when people want to start trying to find similarities or they make a comparison? Should you guys be offended when people do that?
No, I mean, you shouldn't be offended. I mean, at the end of the day, you're always going to have your people that's going to talk. You're always going to have people that's going to compare. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, when people are talking about you, when they're comparing you, they're thinking about you. When they stop talking about you, When they stop comparing you, now you're no longer in the social media. Now you gotta worry. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, hey, compare all you want. Make them numbers rise. Buy my stuff. You can compare me to Michael Jackson if you want. Give me his audience. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Don't be mad just because at the end of the day, it's a lot of greats out there that have done many things from R&B to hip hop to jazz to blues to whatever. So at the end of the day, depending on what you do, you're always gonna sound like somebody. So it is what it is. So you know what? Ride that coattail. Take it for what it is.
I mean, everybody's been compared to somebody. I mean, take it when Chris Brown came out. They was comparing him to Michael. You think he's gonna be mad about that? No, Michael was a great. I mean, the top performers in the world.
Compare me to a great.
So you look at it. If you even watch any of those shows about artists, just like if you see the movie Ray, they compared him to all the artists before him. He was sounding like him. But that's the thing. When you listen to music, you're gonna have a little bit of their style, a little bit of something from those artists that you listen to embedded in you, because that's what you grew up listening to. Now, if you never heard music in your life and then you came out and put together some music, it's gonna probably be more of a chance that somebody's not gonna say you sound like anybody, because you ain't never heard nobody else before you. So therefore, like Ray was sounding like everybody. It was like, Ray, we want to hear what Ray sound like, you know. So then when he did it, he didn't sound like anybody else. Everybody started sounding like him, because that's who they were listening to. So when you get compared to a great or, you know, old school artist or anybody that's doing anything big, that's a good thing. That means you're doing something right, but you still have your own style enough to where they still want to hear you, instead of just saying, okay, I'm gonna stop listening to them. I might as well go ahead and listen to Marvin Gaye because he sounds exactly like Marvin Gaye. So that's why they say you sound like, but they don't say you're mimicking him. You sound exactly like. Nobody ever says that.
I want to stay in this point of view realm. What's you guys' favorite medium? So I'm booking a show, and I'm gonna have some comedy. I'm gonna have some music. I'm gonna have some spoken word. I'd leave it up to you guys, and I say, yo, I just like what y'all do. I'm a fan. Tell me what y'all gonna do. Now, to your point, I'm going to say it's 21 above. I think I'm going to have 50-50 guys and women. When it's something like that, what's y'all's favorite thing to do when you're so multi-talented?
I mean, it's a good question. At the end of the day, what we do is we make 2 different show CDs. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make one that we're going to sit there and do Think, Kiss, and Beat. Then we might make one that got a little bit more R&B, a little bit more. It just depends on what is what. We're going to make multiple platforms before we go. We're going to rehearse. We're going to go over different shows. So when we get there, we're going to take a look around the room. We're going to see what people is feeling, what's going on out there. And then I might be like, yo, Smooth, hey, Will Smooth, hey, we might have to do this other one. We ain't finna do all the club stuff.
And them ladies is loving that R&B.
So we got to switch the show. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make sure that we're ready for all aspects. We're not finna go into it one show. We're gonna have that. We're gonna have that thing in that pocket because we don't know. If we walk up in there, we know it ain't nothing but a lot of bros up in there, a lot of cats. Hey, I ain't finna break out no all R&B. We finna get booed off the stage. I ain't even finna put ourselves in there. Hey, we gotta do some club tracks. We gotta do this laid back stuff. So we're gonna be prepared for all aspects. We don't go in there one way, one-minded, one way, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have a backup at all times because we don't know what to expect. Because, yeah, it's a show. Yeah, you invited me out. But I don't know what crowd you bring. You might bring nothing but a bunch of guys and a few ladies. I don't know. You might be one of those ones that bring all ladies and there might be a handful of guys. We're not going to do no club tracks and it's all females in the room. We ain't going to do that. We got to make it mellow. We're gonna throw. Now we might throw a club thing here and there, but we gotta have some slow stuff. The ladies want that.
Yeah, I like that. Not many people have that range to be able to do that. It tells you how prepared you guys are, how varied and well versed you guys are, and the professionalism that you guys prepare in advance. You guys have that comfortability to be able to bring a whole nother side. Kudos to you guys. I know our listeners are probably jaws dropped right now.
Man, it's a live and learn experience, man.
when you're around your peers, other performers, you guys have been in shows, people you guys have performed with or performed for, how would they describe you guys?
Individual. They'll describe us as us. You know, like, man, y'all put on y'all. Everybody said a lot of the same stuff. They're like, man, y'all put on a high energy show. Y'all know how to move the crowd. Y'all know how to rock the crowd. Y'all know how to bring the crowd in y'all show. One of y'all on one side of the stage, the other one's on the other side of the stage. Y'all make sure everybody's getting it. So we get a lot of that same stuff from everybody. Even when we open up for big names and stuff, they've said the same thing. Like, man, y'all did that. You know, y'all had the crowd moving. Y'all brought the crowd's attention. They was rocking with y'all.
Yeah,
and that's what it's all about.
That. I was gonna say that. I was gonna say high energy. You stole it from me, and that's it. That's from my times of meeting and the material I've seen of you guys. All right, opinion here. I'm just gonna say X amount of dollars, but let's just say I got it covered, and I like y'all. I'm a fan. I'm about to take y'all on an international tour. So now I want to know, where are we going? What's the first city and or country? I won't insult your geographical knowledge. I mean, I know a couple capitals for some countries, but I don't know them all. Where's the first place I want to go?
Hey, we're going to Europe.
Going to Europe.
Because Europe is the biggest place ever. You got so many spots in Europe that you can hit up. It's going to be
No, we're going to argue about this one. Hold on now. Now, Taylor Swift, when she was at the Super Bowl, part of the reason why, this is my opinion, part of the reason why she left country is so she could get the pop. Why she wanted to get the pop? Because over in Asia, that pop is big. She was in Japan the night before the Super Bowl, and that's why she flew in to see her man. Y'all sure you want to stay with Europe? You don't want to go to China, to Korea, to Japan?
China,
we're going to get there.
Japan, all that.
Germany,
the majority of those countries, pop is the top thing.
Pop is gonna be over there. Period.
If you're doing pop music, that you're going to Europe, pop and R&B and hip hop. So Europe is more of all three, but those other countries is more pop than anything.
I got you. Okay, all right,
but demographic. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you're going to still look into what you're looking for. You're going to sit there and see what's going on. You're going to sit there and see, that's a good thing about us. You know what I'm saying? We're not stuck in one genre. A lot of people want to try to say, oh, y'all need to choose one genre. Why? Why should we limit ourselves? Because you never know what somebody is looking for. You never know what somebody wants. You know, as a working artist, we got to work. You might be only looking for R&B. You know what? Well, we got that. Hey, you only want hip hop.
And we've been saying that for years. They want to try to put everybody in one genre. That's why we haven't done one genre. We do, and I mean, I don't know who all is listening. As you said, people around the world listening. I'm pretty sure there's some known artists could be listening, but just to prove a point, we've been saying we make that statement in pretty much probably every interview we've done throughout the years, and it just shows that people are listening. Not saying that they were listening, but you never know who's listening, as they say. Yeah. Look at Beyonce. She just put out a country song. She just got out of a genre, so she went into a whole other genre. So now you can't even put her into one genre.
T-Pain did a country song.
So now you can't put them in one genre. Now they're in multiple genres.
Yo, it's a money move. I think that to your same point, you limit your genres, you limit your money. I mean, y'all mentioned that a little bit earlier. Is why would you limit yourself from opportunities?
If you hit me up and sit there and say, hey, we can't have y'all perform because you only got hip hop club because it's an R&B show, I done lost money. Yep. Oh, well, we can't have y'all perform because all y'all got R&B and laid back. They want some clubs, some ballroom dancing. You limiting our money. So we're gonna make it happen. We got to make it happen.
I mean, we've actually been booked for a show where there was like, man, we want y'all to perform, and I know y'all do that high energy. Y'all got a lot of club stuff. But can y'all do an R&B show, an all R&B show? And we was like, Yeah, we got you. We could do that all day.
Let me know what you want. We got you.
I mean, so the thing is, if this guy over here wants a pop show, we can give a pop show. This guy wants an all R&B show, we can give an all R&B show. This guy wants a mix show, we can give a mix show, because you got to understand, a lot of shows, like if we're on a bill, if you book us on a bill with some known artists, we're gonna see which artists those are. So therefore, when we do music, we're gonna make sure we can fit within, because a lot of people, promoters, the reason why they book a lot of artists that they book is so it's a good flow. You can't have all crunk artists and then R&B and try to throw them in. It changes the whole vibe of the show, and you don't want to slow down the whole show and then try to bring it back up to get the crowd back. So they want to keep that party going throughout the entire thing. So if you're gonna book R&B, you're gonna book all R&B. So it depends. So therefore, you got to be able to blend in with anybody when you're performing. That's why when we go, if we're on the show and they got some known artists, we're like, man, we finna out rock them. And the reason why we have to out rock them is because everybody knows them, but we got to make sure when we leave that stage and everybody goes home, they're gonna be like, man, them twins was, man, they do a Double Xperience was doing it up. We got to make sure they know who we are, because they already know who they are. So we got to make sure we shine that much harder and that much, and that's why shows are so high energy. It's like we're gonna make people feel our energy, so people are gonna know who we are when we leave, and that's how we got to do it.
Of all the places that you guys have been to this point, what was your favorite city? What's the favorite city you went to and was like, yo, I'm telling you, it's just something about it. I know I've been in different cities. I played some sports. I've done some things. I know I have it. We know ain't no two things the same. So in y'all's opinion, well, what's the hot spot? And I want them to hear this, because I want that city to want you back, and I want the other cities to put on for you next time and say, you know, we got to put on next time the Twins roll through. So what's that one?
To me, honestly, all the cities are hot, because all the cities, you know, only thing that's different in each city is the people. Yeah. Everybody loves to party. Everybody loves to dance. I mean, it's just the people and the vibe that the people give. But when you're like us, we've been all over the place, because the military family, we've been everywhere, so we know how to blend in. So therefore, if we go to hot Atlanta, man, we finna get crump and get energy and have them twerking and dropping it low and all that stuff. We go to Miami, we'll be able to blend it in, give a little bit of island type of music. So we're able to shift and change with the demographic and still put on a good show, because as long as you're putting out a high energy show and everybody feels that energy, it doesn't matter what city you go to.
I like it.
They don't want you back.
It's about the people.
What are you guys' favorite venues? You like to do the outdoors. You like the small clubs where you could feel that bass hit that wall and come back to you. Like, what's your favorite venues to perform at?
Well, I mean, of course, you know, a lot of artists gonna like the indoors. For one, if you outdoors, you got to compete with the wind blowing into your mic. You got to compete with, you know, there's so many things you got to compare yourself to. Where you got to be ready for that. Where you got to turn the mic a certain way if you're gonna hit a certain note, so the air ain't coming in, blowing up, messing up your vocals. So, you know, everybody's always gonna like indoors. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you get some of those parties out there on South Beach, out there in Miami, you might be outside on that stage. You ain't finna turn that down. There's a lot walking out there while you on that stage. I'm here to tell you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be like, oh, it's too much wind. No, above that, and we're gonna make this happen. So It's not about, you know, most people, of course, you're always gonna like the indoors. You know what I'm saying? Only difference between indoors and outdoors limits you. Outdoors, depending on where you at, it's room and space for days.
To me, like really with venues, technically, it doesn't matter the venue. We just want to perform for the fans. We just want to give the people what they want, whether we inside or outside. It could be, and you know, out here in Texas, people, it get as hot as you know what out here. So it's like, yeah, we're gonna be sweating, but we're gonna make sure we drink our water. We're gonna make sure we hydrate and stuff when we hit that stage. So it's just all about performing for the fans, regardless of what venue it is. Yep. It can be a small club that only seats 100 people. We're gonna make sure all 100 of those people are having fun and having and we're gonna put on that show just like we'll put on a show for 60,000. We performed in front of 80,000, 100,000 people before. It's the same type of performance. You just got to give that high energy, because the fact of the matter is somebody's going to film you anyway. So you don't want somebody to go, man, when they performed at the little club, they didn't give all that energy. They didn't give that good show like they did over there when they was in Cancun, Mexico, when they rocked that thing. It's like you want to be able to have everybody experience a great show, everybody experience a good show. So, so it doesn't really necessarily matter the venue. It's just let us on stage and let us do what we do so we can put on a good show.
Yep, because at the end of the day, everybody deserves a good show. I don't care if it's only 5 people in the audience. I don't care if it's 2 people in the audience. I don't care if it's only the workers there and you still got to perform. A lot of people want to walk away from their shows. Well, hey, ain't nobody here, so I'm out. Bump that. Everybody deserves their show. I don't care if they the workers. I don't care if it's the cat that's sitting there mopping the floor, because at the end of the day, you still got people listening. You still got people that can put you on their social media. You still got people that get out there and put your name out there. You don't know who might be sitting out. It might be that one person sitting in that audience. It's only 5 people there. And like back in the days, it might have been Clyde Davis's people sitting. I mean, you don't know who it is. You never know who was watching you. You never know who's at the event. You never know what is what. So at the end of the day, if you on that stage, you put on your show like you put on the show. I don't care who's in the building.
I mean, you just think about it. Now just think about any concerts, any shows, any place that you have been. What's the main thing that you think when you left that show? Was that ticket actually worth spending all that money? Because you don't want to spend like $1,000 for a ticket VIP and then the whole show just sucks. And then it's like, man, because then that makes you look bad, because it's like, I'm not going to another one of their shows. I done spent all this money and that show was horrible. I'm not going back. So that's where it comes into play. You have to put on a good show for everybody every single time, no matter the venue, because you want people to be like, man, it was worth me buying this ticket to come see this show. They might not have liked all the artists, but you got to make sure they liked you when you leave. So therefore, you're the positive talk of the town when they leave. And that's when they're going to bring you back. That's when they're going to want you back, because they know people enjoyed your show where they kept. I mean, think about it. If you ever went to a Michael Jackson show, I guarantee you still know where that ticket is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because you like, man, he put on that show. I'm keeping this ticket. Man, I had a great time. Some people do what, little collages and stuff. They're gonna put that in their collage, man. We had a great night at this show. You want people to be able to do that when they leave. So it's all about just putting on a good show for the fans.
You guys we're doing a give and go. I had my very next question. You guys are right there in tune with it. So thanks for sharing the rock. I got to use another basketball analogy. Top five performers. Y'all are multi-talented. I'm not saying all R&B. I'm not saying all hip hop. I'm not saying spoken word. Top 5 performers. Go.
Well, when you go to top 5 performers, when you go to performances, you gotta basically separate it, because, for example, I always got to go to Michael. Everybody knows Michael.
That's one.
You couldn't have Michael Jackson perform in a club. Couldn't do it, because it's too small of a venue. He wouldn't be able to put on that show that he put on when it's a concert stage. So when you go to performers, everybody's different. There's some people, like you could take Chris Brown. Chris Brown can go into a club and he can put on a good show in a club just as well as put on a good show at a concert. But he's one of those, he's versatile. He can do either or. Not everybody's like that. So when you say the top performers, you got to specify where you're talking about. Are you talking about the main stage, or are you just talking about across the board? Because everybody's different. Because you can have that performer, like if you put Lil Wayne on a big stage, they're gonna get wild out. You put him in a club, he can still perform in a club, and that's because he knows how to perform in both locations. So when you go by performers, you have to go by that performers that could perform in both locations. Across the board, because when you book an artist, you're not just booking them for concerts. Some people do get booked for the smaller venues, private venues, and that private venue is not going to be as big as a performance as that concert venue. So when it comes to performers, everybody's different. So to me, I'm like, everybody who's out there doing what they're doing, they put on a good show for the crowd that they're performing for. So I put everybody in that category. Now you have performers, and then you have the other terminology where they say what? He's the best entertainer. That's why they said Michael Jackson's best entertainer in the world. He didn't say, they don't say performer, because he didn't perform. He entertained. So performers, anybody can perform. You can go to a karaoke bar and they performing for you. Are they entertaining you is the question. So you have to specify what you mean by performers, because performers, I say everybody's good performers. Now entertainers, that's a whole different ballpark.
Yeah. No, I see that. So if you guys had an opportunity, tell me what you would do here. I have a show. I'm going to a nursing home with some old heads. I want y'all to come. What song y'all gonna do? R&B, soul, no hip hop, no rap. What would you?
It depends on
the demographics.
The demographics in that nursing home.
They all retired.
It might be all African.
It might be all black people.
It might be all Caucasian. It might be a mixture of the two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just depends.
If it's a mixture, I mean, you got to be able to throw all them old school hits out. You got to, I mean, one song that pretty much anybody in the nursing home will know is Michael Bolton. How am I supposed to love you? Everybody in the nursing home gonna know that. You know, so you
Cool in the Game,
and
Celebration.
We can do all
Everybody's
that.
gonna know that. You know what I'm saying? It's
any Michael Jackson song.
I mean, there are even times we might walk around and be like, hey, go see what kind of songs they listen for. What they like. We might change up our song. We might change up our whole show in the back. You say we take our laptop, we take our stuff with us everywhere, because you never know when you might have to change the show up.
I see that.
You know, I want to go in there. I want to go in there ready to see Keith Sweat and nobody that know who Keith Sweat is, which is very rare that that's ever gonna happen. Just kind of being sarcastic with it. But what I'm saying is, you know, you don't know what people are looking for. You might have those people that are like, ooh, you know, I want them to sing a Michael Bolton. I want them to sing a Luther Vandross. Or I want them to sing Footloose. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear this, I want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to try to find a way to appeal to our audience.
In those type of places, people are going to request artists. They might not request songs, but they're going to be like, oh, Dion, hey, excuse me, do you do some...
They're gonna know. We're gonna know before we even get there that these people are looking for something.
They're gonna ask. You just got to be ready to do it.
Blend it in.
You might not know the song that they know, but as long as you know a song that artist knows, they'll be just as happy.
They're gonna know it.
Gentlemen, this is the part I hate. I'm at my limited time. I like to finish. I don't do it all the time, but I'd be very curious to you guys, being multi-talented, multifaceted. I like to ask a question because I do believe in 6 degrees of separation. Who's the most interesting person, or maybe they're twins and or triplets, person or group to you that you could introduce me to so I could get them on the show? They don't have to be the most famous. They don't have to be the richest. Interesting. And this gives us a chance to see, what do you find interesting? Who do you find interesting? Who would that be?
There's a lot of interesting people out there. So it's more of availability for certain people if they to get on the show. So I mean, because if you love your fans, everybody wouldn't mind getting on here doing an interview just because they love to speak to the fans, let the fans know a little bit about them, what they got going on and what they're doing. So everybody's interesting in their own way, depending on where you're going, because there's some very interesting people out there. Especially that's why they say in Austin there's a whole bunch of interesting people. That's why they keep it weird. That's why they say that's their whole motto in Austin: keep Austin weird. It's like, really, I don't want to be weird today. Can I just be normal? So
yes, it is.
I mean, there's a variety of different people. And so it wouldn't be just one person that I could list. It would be a multitude of people that I can mention.
And then, you know, depending on what you're looking for as far as your stuff. You're looking for rap, you're looking for R&B, looking for gospel. I mean, it's so many talented people out there, you know, even like when it comes to even trying to choose somebody, I hate to limit to that. I hate to choose somebody over somebody who could be just as good, depending on what genre, depending on who you put them around. You can take this one person that might be great in this crowd, but they might not be that good over here in this crowd over here. You know what I'm saying? So it's more so we talk to people as far as availability, who can do what, who can make it, who can get on. Hey, we're trying to help the next brother along. We're trying to help the next sister along. We're trying to help the next group along. You know what I'm saying? Today, so it's more people's availability, you know, because we're here to help people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows what it's been like to start from the bottom on up. You know what I'm saying? So we try to look out. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say, oh, I got to choose between you and you. Well, hey, can you make it? Can you make it? Oh, well, I got this. Well, hey, I'm sorry. I got to go with this person. Because at the end of the day, it's how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
How bad do you want to get your stuff out there? Because at the end of the day, for something that you're going to turn down, I guarantee you there's going to be somebody else like, hey, I go.
Because there are a lot of people out there that don't like doing interviews. They just don't like it. You know, some people love it. But I can't, that's like me saying, yo, Mike would be great, but Mike don't like doing interviews. So that would be pointless to even saying it because he's not going to do it. So that's why I said there's a multitude of different people that could be listed, and it's too wide of a range to just list one.
Yeah, no, understood. I like that thinking. Gentlemen, how can our listeners follow you? Social media, how can they stay in tune? It's the big thing nowadays. What would be a good way for them to be able to stay in contact and follow?
Man, we on everything. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. You name it, we're on it. We're on every download site, every streaming site. You can find us everywhere. You just have to make sure you spell it right. And that's DOUBLEXPERIENCE. So it's Double Xperience. So you have to make sure you say X experience. Because if you put it and you spell it correctly, you're not going to find us. You're going to find some guys that's lighter than us, and it's not going to be us. And y'all going to be like, hey, that wasn't y'all. But like, how did you spell it? Oh, I spelled it EX. Well, that's where you made a mistake. You got to listen. You got to spell it XPERIENCE. So as long as you spell it correctly, you'll be able to find us everywhere. Our music's on every download, every streaming site. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram Reels. We're on Facebook Reels. So you can find our music everywhere.
Movie soundtracks, we out there.
Yep.
This was great. Gentlemen, I wish you a ton of luck in all of your future endeavors. Thank you for your time today. Double Xperience, everyone. These gentlemen are very talented. Gentlemen, have a great rest of the day.
All right, thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. Peace and love.
All right, see ya.